Good evening, friends and family, and all the people in the social media world. My name is Marsha Evans, also known as Babe, also known as Squirrel, also known as the owner of Music Therapy 617. I am on here telling my story and asking people to pray for me because for like the past 6 years, I've been going through a lot of trauma, past trauma, and family drama. And I know people get tired of hearing this, like from my family's perspective, they just want me to just, leave things in the past and don't talk about it. They're like, you can talk to a therapist about this instead of going on social media. But I like to get things out there, because you never know. Somebody might be going through the same thing I'm going through, or they may have already been through the same thing I'm going through and they relate to my story. So it's like basically I'm trying to, help people with my story. So, for you guys who don't know, already I've made a couple of posts about my uncle and the things that I found on him. I did a background check on him. The only reason why I was prompted to do this background check is because I basically kind of found out that he was doing insurance fraud on me, which is a little scary. That's alarming for people who don't think, that's alarming. Like the fact that I may have signed a life insurance policy that was presented to me as health insurance, that's alarming because it's like, that's insurance fraud, first of all. And it's like, is he gonna knock me off or like, and I looked up a whole bunch of other stuff where I saw like his debt, like different civil suits where he made payments, like it's crazy. But anyways, so yeah, I found out, basically that my uncle had a sexual assault case and basically everybody, and like not everybody, but some people in my family don't want me talking about it. They don't, they don't want me bringing up that type of stuff, but I bring it up because it's almost like I knew he was a grimy person before I knew he was a grimy person. When I was growing up throughout my teen years and in my childhood years, he was a minister. He even offered for me to go to his church home. I'm not going to say the name of the church, but he offered, for me to visit his church and things like that. And I did, like, before I knew what I know now. So, anyways, I realized that you can't trust people, not even in your own family, right? I lived with him. This all started basically because I lived with him in 2008 in Charlottesville, Virginia. And when I was there for that 1 month, I was there only 1 month and I got shipped back to Boston. My grandmother was like, get her out of there before she gets hurt. I got in an argument with my cousin, but we'll get into that later. So when I was in Virginia for that 1 month, basically living with him, his wife, which is my biological aunt, I noticed things were different. You know what I mean? Like I caught him, not even caught. It wasn't even caught. Like he was in his own house. Like, it was just out of his character. Like one day I walked in the kitchen and it was like, he was drinking like a 32 ounce of a Heineken beer. And I'm like I never seen him drink a day in my life. He was a minister, right? So, and he's like, Charlene's fucking with me. And I'm like, he's like, Charlene's fucking with me. She don't want me to take this job in DC, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and that was totally out of his character, right? And I know he's been to war. He has PTSD, so, like, I know that now, right? So anyways, my aunt walks in the room and I just walk out. You know what I mean? That was the first sign where I was like, things are different. Like, you know what I mean? Something's not right. So then later on, I basically am in a conversation with him, and he's like, I want to put you on my health insurance or whatever. And me not thinking like, okay, you know, I'm old. I was working at Wendy's at the time down there. I'm like, you know, I could purchase a little eye and dental through my job or whatever. You know, I was a healthy 23-year-old. So I was, you know, I didn't think like, you know, anything was wrong with that. He said he wanted to put me on his health insurance. So I agreed. But when he went to go get the documents, his wife came in the room and she was just like pleading with me not to sign it. She was like, no, don't sign it. Don't sign it. Don't sign it. Don't sign it. And I'm like, I didn't know what was going on. Because remember, I still have this type of first impression of him as being a minister and stuff like that. So I didn't know what was going on. So when he came back in the room, she gave like a nervous grin. And I looked at her and I looked at him and he chuckled a little. And then like I signed the documents. I didn't listen to my aunt because I didn't know what was going on. I'm thinking he's a minister, but that right there, I should listen to her because she's my blood, right? So anyways, after I signed the documents, I get in an argument with his oldest daughter, and I start bringing up things that happened in our childhood, a thing basically, an incident that happened in our childhood, and I was basically kicked out of Virginia, and nobody believed me. Absolutely nobody. His son actually said, right, are you on crack? And I felt that was so, it was just so insulting because like, I remember being 11 years old and being inappropriate. I was fast as a kid, right? And I was inappropriate with his son, okay? And his son basically said, I'm not doing this. And he told on me. So I walked away, okay? Like I was 11 years old. And for his son to acknowledge that, you know, Marsha, you was inappropriate with me or whatever when we were kids. You tried to be inappropriate with me. But not acknowledge that his sister, you know, violated me. I felt like that was a slap in the face because it was just like, you're asking me if I'm on crack, like, and you know I was fast with you. So where do you think I learned that from? You know what I mean? Like, where do you think I learned that behavior from? I was fast as a kid. Your sister was the one who violated me. So now you're asking me if I'm on crack because you don't believe that your sister did that to me, but you believe that, you know, yeah, I was the fast girl or whatever. You know what I mean? Usually when kids are fast, okay, 9 times out of 10, something happened to them. And in that case, that's what happened to me. Okay, I was around children, other children who were a bad influence on me. You know, his sister was 2 years older than me. You know what I mean? We were both very, very little kids, like the age of 7, and she was like 9, you know, at the time. So by the time I was 11, I had already been predisposed to like this type of behavior and thinking it's okay. You know what I mean? But what gets me is that their father, right, who basically had me sign a life insurance policy and presented it to me as health insurance, he was convicted of a sexual assault back in 2018. He was like 57 years old when he did this. You know, it's just like they'll acknowledge my flaws, but they're, you know, when it comes to their family and the skeletons in their closet, they're not trying to get into that. You know what I mean? I was a little girl, so I didn't know no better. But their father was a grown man. He definitely knew better, okay? As a correctional officer, as a minister, and as a husband. He knew not to cheat on his wife. He knew as a correctional officer that he wasn't supposed to have sexual contact with the inmates. You know what I mean? So, you know, as a minister, he's not supposed to commit adultery. You know what I mean? So what's his excuse? Was he a young man? Like, no. Like, I was a kid when these things took place, so I didn't know no better. I didn't have the mind of an adult when I was 11 years old and stuff. You know what I mean? But, anyways, it's like the family trauma, past trauma and drama is getting so real. It's like, I feel like they're defending somebody who was actually convicted of a sex crime, and they're basically demonizing me for my behavior as a child. You know what I mean? And not even that, it's like, if he would have sat down and asked me, like, you know, did anything happen to you? Because that's what people do. They call little girls fast and things like that, but they don't want to ask how they got that way. So if he would have took the time to sit down and ask me, you know, what happened to you? Why are you behaving like this? I would have told him, like, your oldest daughter did this, that, and the third. I would have spilled the beans. But see, I was taught not to snitch, not to tattletale and shit like that. Excuse my language. I was taught that, you know, by my peers and my environment. You know, I was always taught that. You know what I mean? So it came out when I was 23 and living down there in Virginia with them, and I got shipped back to Boston because I spoke the truth and I told them what happened. And like I said, his son Josh told me, he was like, are you on crack? That didn't happen. And I'm like, it was just an insult. It was just so bad. I'm like, I just felt like crying, like nobody believed me. They believe like my behavior, but they don't believe where I got it from. They're just, you know what I mean? It's just like, your sister violated me and your father is convicted of a sex crime. You know what I mean? But you're focusing on me saying, oh, when you were 11 years old or whatever, you know, you kissed me or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's past trauma, family drama. You know what I mean? And Eric, I'll never look at him the same as a minister, as a man, nothing. I'll never look at him the same because I did not know that people could be so ruthless, and the whole life insurance policy thing. You know what I mean? It got to me. You know what I mean? Like, if he could do that, what else is he capable of? And then that's when I found out he recently had a sexual assault charge. So it's just like, I wish I was brave enough to tell when I was 7. Maybe it would have alleviated me being fast as a kid or whatever. You know what I mean? I wish I would have had the courage to tell. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm here now. I'm talking about it now. You know what I'm saying? And our family is torn apart. It's torn apart. You know what I mean? It's torn apart. They're demonizing me and making me look like a criminal for some stuff I did in my childhood. But they're not trying to acknowledge their father's sexual assault charge or their sister's inappropriate behavior when she was a kid. So that's that. I just ask for you to pray for me, pray for my family. It's a lot of stuff going on in the spiritual world that people are unaware of. Things that happen on a daily basis. People are, you know, dropping like flies left and right. You know what I mean? And the enemy is busy. It's like the enemy knows his time is coming. You know what I mean? I be watching videos on YouTube or Facebook or social media rather, and I see how like somebody robs like a convenience store, and then the owner like locks the doors. So the culprit who robs the convenience store gets locked inside the store. So like he knows the cops are coming, right? All right, he knows the cops are coming. So what is he trying to do? He's trying to do as much damage as possible. He's knocking chip racks over. He's breaking bottles. He's messing up the store type. You know what I mean? That's how the enemy is. The enemy knows his time is coming. So he's trying to do as much damage and destruction as possible. The enemy is busy breaking families apart, doing all type of stuff because he knows he lost already. He knows his time is coming. Okay? So like I said, keep me in prayer. Yeah, for all you youth out there, speak up. If anybody's doing anything inappropriate to you, tell your parent. You know what I mean? Both of your parents, if they're in your life, tell somebody, a teacher, a counselor, whatever adult in your life that you trust. Yes, tell them. You know what I mean? And I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Oh yeah, and check out my music. It's under Marsha Evans on Apple Music, Marsha Evans on Spotify, Music Therapy 617 on SoundCloud. And I think I might drop some new music tonight. I think I might. But yeah, so y'all have a good day. Bye.